Hey guys, Coach Andy here. So second week of the Open, we're in it. Let's talk about 17.2. This workout, 12-minute AMRAP. Basically, you're looking at kind of like 4 rounds here. 50-foot dumbbell front rack walking lunge, toes to bar, dumbbell power cleans. Next 2 rounds, the only thing that changes is the toes to bar become bar muscle ups for RX. So this workout is all going to be about fatigue management, mainly in the forearms and in the shoulders, a little bit in the core, in the middle leg section, but mainly in the forearms and in the shoulders. So the first thing I want to talk about when we talk about fatigue management is how to break up the sets in a smart and intelligent way. So the dumbbell walking lunge, we're going to try and break that up. If you need to, at the 25-foot mark when you have to turn around. If you want to, put the dumbbells down for a quick second and pick them back up and go right into it. Next, let's talk about the toes to bar. Most people, most athletes, you're looking at 16 toes to bar can probably go relatively unbroken. I do not recommend it. My recommendation is to either go 8 and 8 or 9 and 7. If you're breaking up into 2s, if you're breaking up to 3s, maybe a set of 6 and then 2 sets of 5. But break it up and be smart about it. We want to save those forearms as much as possible. So the next thing I want to talk about is just that, and it's taking those breaks. It's setting it up so that you give your forearms some type of rest in between each set. So we already talked about the toes to bar, the power cleans. You should be able to go unbroken, but if you can't go straight into your lunge, do not do 8 reps and then put the dumbbells down. You're gonna pick them back up and power clean them to get into the lunge position anyway. You might as well do 7, put them down, pick them up, and go into number 8. And then let's talk about the big thing here, guys, the bar muscle ups. It's really gonna depend upon how well you are at bar muscle ups. And we can kind of break it down into 3 different groups. The first group would be those people that, well, they've never done a bar muscle up. Well, chances are today might be that day if you're pretty close. So by the time you get to this part in the workout, you're looking at maybe 4 around there, give or take, minutes left. So you may be staring at the bar and trying to get a bar muscle up for 4 minutes. And if you get it, well then congratulations, that's awesome. That's what this Open is all about. Pushing yourself beyond what you thought was physically possible. We move into the next group. Those are the people that can do some bar muscle ups, right? Maybe sets of 3 or 4 or 5, but they start to fatigue, start to fail, and stuff like that. Stay in small, manageable sets. I'm talking singles or even doubles and triples, nothing more. Hop down, do not burn out, because then you're gonna start to fail. Then we've got the people that are like, oh, bar muscle ups at my gym, I can do these all day long. Well, you know your fatigue well, but again, I would still recommend keeping them real small. Your forearms are gonna pump out, the grip's gonna go, so you wanna make sure that you can hang on to that bar as much as possible and not fail. So even for you gymnastic ninjas out there, I would still recommend smaller sets in your bar muscle ups, maybe again, sets of 3. Which brings up the next thing I wanna talk about, and that's when you break, how you're going to break, and that's literally, guys, count in your head, right? This is not a long workout. It's not like last week where we had 20 minutes. It's only 12 minutes. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining a consistent break each time, 3 to 5 seconds, nothing more. Whether it's counting in your head 1, 2, 3, whether it's clapping in between, whether it's getting chalk or taking 3 deep breaths, it doesn't matter. But make sure you time your breaks correctly and consistently. Otherwise, the time's going to get away from you, and then you're going to be sitting there and there's 2 minutes left and you're in round 2. So let's talk about each movement individually. First thing we want to talk about is the dumbbell lunge. For this, guys, it's super imperative that you do not get no reps. Make sure that trailing knee touches every single time. Make sure that those dumbbells stay wrapped on those shoulders, and make sure that that head is behind that center line. You want to make sure that you have a grip on that bar, on that dumbbell the entire time. Now, play around with the positioning of that dumbbell, right? Maybe it's kind of elbow down, resting that head on the shoulder, or maybe it's going elbow up a little bit higher and going with a more vertical position. But play around with it, see what works best for you and what helps save your grip. So next, let's talk about the toes to bar. Pretty standard stuff, right? Try to, have a full grip with this, and try not to re-grip as you do your toes to bar, and try to stay light in your grip. And all that's gonna help kind of work with that fatigue management. Make sure both of those feet touch at the same time, otherwise it's no rep, which could be devastating if you have to hop off the bar and keep grabbing. Every single time you guys grab onto something, you're activating those flexor muscles in your forearm, and that's what's gonna help, that's what's gonna start that fatigue to really set in. So talking about the dumbbell power cleans, right? Unlike last week, only one head of the dumbbell has to touch the ground. The big difference here is whether or not you should kind of lean over and use your back and your core to do these, or you should drive with your legs. My recommendation, guys, dumbbell power cleans, probably one of the fastest movements in this workout. Use your legs. It's not a super leg heavy workout. The lunges aren't gonna be super taxing on your legs. So use your legs. That way you can do kind of like a power clean, so the dumbbell doesn't have to come all the way up. You don't have to pull all the way up, and you can save your grip just a little bit. And then we talk about the bar muscle ups, right? So again, make sure you guys have a full grip. That'll help to stop that re-gripping on the top. Here's the big thing, guys. Make sure you read the rules, because it says no part of your arm other than your hand can touch that bar. So all those chicken wings, they're out this year. No chicken wings, no forearm pressing out. It's gotta be all hands, all shoulders, guys. So with that in mind, let's also quickly talk about some things that we can do to help mitigate this fatigue, right? So make sure you guys stretch out your forearms ahead of time, right? Hands on the ground, doing some wrist circles, even just doing this kind of stuff back and forth, stretching those wrists out. The other thing that you guys can do, if you're into it, right, some studies have shown that it does help with fatigue management, and that's kinesthesiology taping. So if you want, grab some kinesthesiology tape, KT tape, rock tape, whatever floats your boat, and tape up those flexors and those forearms. Now, it's not going to help with grip strength, but what it will help with is that fatigue management. It'll help to reduce the amount of fatigue that you get, help reduce that pump that happens in that forearm. I know the pump is going to be real this week, guys. So everything that you do is all about this fatigue management of these forearms. So that's it for this week for the tips and tricks. Stay tuned. We'll be doing another one next week for 17.3. Can't wait to see what comes our way. Hang in there, guys.